From Carolla One Studios in Glendale, California, this is The Adam Carolla Show. Adam's guest today, Dana Gould and Peter Tilden. Plus rounds of March Madness and Huel's Jewels. Plus the news with Chris Loxamana. And now, he doesn't have a busted bracket, but he did jerk off to someone named Busty Brackets. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on. No choice because Amanda, get it on. Welcome back to the studio with the great Dana Gould. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
And Max Zapata's over there on news. Peter Tilden, the fixture of LA radio and sort of comedy and beyond, will be in here later on. We got some Huel's Jewels to play and March Madness as well. First, a little slice of what it's like to be me. I thought just a little peek behind the curtain. Something happened with my phone, too much data, blah, 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 and I somehow just erased the part that says all podcasts. It's like too much, so I just hit this button and there's no more podcasts. There's nothing to listen to. And then my schedule would be sort of like I'd go for a walk and listen to a podcast and walk around the house sometimes. And so then when I was getting ready to take my cold plunge into my swimming pool this morning, at first I walked out and I was just standing there and it's kind of drizzly and cloudy and cold and getting ready to go in the pool. And I thought, I don't have my podcast that I normally listen to.
How do you listen to your podcast in the pool?
I would tend to put it on the speaker.
Okay, so
of the phone.
You don't have like ear waterproof.
No,
headphones. Okay.
they have them, but
I know or they have underwater speakers.
I would fuck
like
that up.
Yeah, at a certain point, just get in the pool. I don't need.
Yeah, I have.
I don't need to watch TV while swimming.
Yes, I have two beanies at home that are Wi-Fi enabled that have like speakers in the ears and stuff. I'm never going to be able to figure this thing out. So I normally set my phone down, turn the volume up, and just sort of swim across the pool. And at some point I go underwater. I can't hear it, but it's just kind of there in the background. And so I was in my backyard today, and it was very quiet. And I thought, I don't have my podcast. I'm not listening to anything. And then I thought, well, that's good. I'm like convening with nature. I'm not listening to the news, and I'm not listening to what's going on in Ukraine and all the surus that's out there.
Yeah, nothing's getting you revved up.
No, I'm just standing there in my bathrobe. It's very quiet where I am. I'm listening to nature. I'm looking at nature, and I announce, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. And then a leaf blower fires up from across the street, and I don't know if it's on the other side of the canyon, if it's on my side of the canyon, but it is deafening to me. And now I'm just standing there like on cue. The second I announced I was at one with nature, two-stroke motor fires up, and I'm immediately back to nuts.
You're immediately the golfing priest in Caddyshack.
Right. Immediately back to who I was before. But I made an attempt. And it lasted almost 18 seconds.
But you and my wife both do the cold plunge thing. She's Swedish, so it makes sense for her. She went in the pool last night, unheated, drizzling, freezing cold.
Yes.
That's not an Irish thing at all. No. It just went in the pool, and and I won't even, I'll be in the house, and I'll just hear like, I was like, oh, she went in the pool.
There she is in the backyard.
Is her ritual every day?
No, but she'll just get bored. She'll go, I'm gonna take a plunge, and freezing cold.
Yes,
and she'll just go do a lap I like it at about 84. I like it like tub.
Yeah, well, everyone likes that.
Yeah,
you know, I have these conversations with people all the time where they go, I know you don't like fries. I go, no, I love French fries. I love them. It's not that I don't like them. It's I'm trying not to eat them.
Yeah.
You're being way too dismissive. You love that pool. Everyone loves the pool at 85.
Right.
I love the pool at 85.
But I also like to not take out a second to pay my DWP bill. So I keep it much lower.
Yes, yeah. And does your Swedish wife do other things that are of, she hang out at the IKEA? She constantly talk about ABBA.
Yes, she does. She does love IKEA, and she's all about what's that? The horror movie that they made.
Right, the vampire one.
No, it was just it's named after the Swedish summer holiday. It was.
Can't think of it.
Yeah, that one. It's a lot about that. It's a lot of dancing around the maypole, and she'll eat like a raw fish. She'll just like a cat in a cartoon.
Really?
She'll pull out the skeleton. She's like Top Cat.
I love her.
I think we can agree, and I'm speaking as an Italian. I think I can agree that Swedish meatballs have taken over the traditional Italian meatball. I like them better.
Yeah.
I would rather have Swedish meatballs than the regular old Italian kind.
Well, the old Italian one, it's just a softball, and then you dice it up, and you spin it. It's never the same.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
So
this is the longest conversation I've ever had about Swedish meatballs.
Well, we can continue.
No, I'm ready to move on.
Well, I'll give you a plug then. Dana Gould's going to be at Helium, which is a great club in Portland. That's coming up Thursday through Saturday. And then
this weekend. Looking forward to it. I love Portland.
Yeah, it's great. The club's great. Although my observation from the last time, I think I was at Helium in Portland, and by the way, it's going to be in Bloomington, Illinois at the Comedy Attic.
No, Indiana.
Oh, Indiana. Sorry, Indiana. Is there Bloomington?
There's both.
Indiana.
Yeah,
okay.
there's both of them.
The Comedy Act, that'll be April 14th and the 17th. I was there at Helium, I think the last time I was there, and I think my observation was when I pulled up in front of the club, saw a guy in a full-size RV. He had pulled power off the power pole. He had a barbecue set up. He probably had like an air fryer going.
Sure.
And you got to maneuver this 37-foot RV through the tight streets of Portland and then parallel park it. And I thought, this guy is as capable of working as anybody I know. If you said to most gainfully employed people, I'd like you to parallel park a 38-foot Winnebago on the streets of Portland and then grab the nearest power pole, put some Romex up and some alligator clamps and see if you can pull some power off it to light your sous vide fryer. They'd be like, I'm not capable of that. I'm not knowledgeable enough. I'm not motivated enough. I'm not smart enough.
With me, that's just like you say, like all I got to do is pull power off the pole, and then it's just like what we call a hard cut to an ambulance.
Right, right. And much like the cat with the fish bones, your bones lighting up inside of you.
Yeah, exactly. Young Frankenstein, you can see my skeleton inside.
Yes.
Yeah, but why are we impressed now? Like I see this and I'm just impressed.
My feeling is first I'm impressed and then I'm angered because it's like you are telling me you're disabled and unable to work, or for whatever reasons you're not paying into the system, you're sucking off the pole.
I
say you are as capable of working at a Costco or an Amazon hub as any person within 20 square miles of this place.
Unless he's retired.
Oh, that's right.
It could be that.
Yes.
But still, the guy that owned the house before I owned the house, who now is, as we like to say, a guest of the county, he was tried to pull power off went underground and tried to, because I had some electrical thing, and the guy's like, "What the hell happened to this place?"
Now I'm guessing you live in a nice home.
Yeah, I live in a nice place.
So the guy who lived there before that's incarcerated.
Yes, he was an independent pharmaceutical engineer, independent pharmacist.
Right.
The house is, you can see every road leading to the house from the house. So I could see why he lived there. You could see anybody coming.
Right.
Apparently he was fast and loose with the rules and regulations of our fair society. My neighbors, each one of my neighbors has over the years come up to me and thanked me for living there, and one said, "It's so nice to come around the corner and not see people sitting on your driveway in handcuffs."
Wow.
And the first year I lived there, I got a lot of visitors at like 4:35 in the morning. Hey, Bill here. Bill here. A lot of people scratching their neck.
Oh,
hey, yeah. Like, no.
Jesus.
Bill, yeah.
How have you been with neighbors? You've lived all over the Southland here in L.A.
I've been very lucky.
Yes.
I had one. My first wife and I lived in up by the Hollywood Bowl on Iris Drive, 6622 Iris Drive. Mm-hmm. And the neighbor, we called him Dracula because he was just this really old guy that lived by himself, and he didn't like you to park in front of his house. Like, there's this weird thing that, like, I own the sidewalk in front of my house. You can't park there. Like, no, that's not true. I can park in front of your house. It's the sidewalk.
We've experienced that, Chris and I, with a neighbor as well.
And he would hose your car. He would just, like, put his hose on the car. And I was like, well, okay. Well, I'm going to go. I often hose my car myself. If you want to angrily wash my car,
you might pay people to hose your car off. Yeah, so most bad neighbors start with a bad premise. And the bad
I've heard horror stories.
The bad premise is I own this land in front of my house on the street. I've claimed it in the name of Spain and it is mine. Yeah. And then they start with a flawed premise. Then you do something that interrupts their flawed premise, like park your car on the street in front of their home, and then they go, now you violated me, except for you're not violated because your premise was flawed.
Right.
Yes, I've had many of these.
The noise is just like we've had like noise, like a dog that was just like 4 a.m, and I was like, look, I have dogs, and they're, 9 times out of 10, it's just like, you have a choice between being cool and not being cool. Mm-hmm. And it's alarming how many people go, I don't want to be cool.
Yes.
I'm like, I get it. I have dogs. I have kids. I know the world. I'm in the world.
Yeah, I've always questioned the wisdom of that, because sometimes you go camping and there's somebody who's at the campsite that's adjacent to yours, and they're loud or they're whatever. There's weird forms of it. Sometimes they come over to your thing and want to know if you have a couple of Schaefers or Natty Lights they can pilfer. Do you have what are you going to do with that joint? Like
they're camping in 1976.
Yes,
you got any Schaefers?
There's that. But I kind of understand when you have the dust-ups with them, because come first light, everyone's packing it up and going separate directions, never to be seen again. When the neighbors start in with you, you're like, you do understand for the rest of our time here, I'm going to have to walk out. I'm going to see you standing on your front lawn. It's going to be a weird exchange, uncomfortable. Maybe we'll both look down at our feet while we walk. At some point, possibly, if we had a good relationship, I could ask you to feed the dog while I was out of town or tend to this. Yeah. Or if I saw somebody tampering with your garden window, I would call the cops. But that's all gone now because you've chosen to have this relationship with me.
I heard a story. Actually, a retired judge told me this story. Don't ask me why I was talking to a retired judge. I didn't do anything wrong. His wife, they lived in a nice neighborhood. And the new neighbors came over and they said, hey, your fence is on our property. We just did the whatever and
survey,
dated the easement or whatever. And before you say anything, we're retired. We're both lawyers. So they had no idea who this guy was.
Right.
So they went, okay. And then they looked at the easement and the guy just said, look, like Stu said to his wife, like, is this worth the fight? It's 5 feet of land we're not even using.
Right.
So he just said, no, you're right. It's on your land. And they said, well, we'd like you to get rid of it. And he goes, it's yours. Get rid of it if you want to. It's yours.
It's on your land.
Problem now,
right.
And they weren't expecting that.
Yeah, I had friends who recently just sold their house and moved because of their neighbor.
Yeah, no, that happens a lot.
Howie Mandel sort of did that in Malibu. He built a big, custom, beautiful home, like almost across the street from a house I had over there. So his neighbor was just so fucking insane that he just moved.
Yeah.
A custom house that he built.
His neighbor was so crazy how he put a rubber glove over his head and then breathed into it.
That's right.
Well, apparently the edge from U2 is like the worst. Apparently he's been trying to build this house in Malibu that blocks like the view of like the neighborhood, and there's a law that says that you can't block this view. And he, for like 5 years, has just been going to court going, but I'm the edge.
Plus, if
I want to be the only person that sees the ocean. I'm the edge. I don't think you understand.
Only I want to see the edge.
And if you're the edge's neighbor, you have to hear him all day, all night, like practicing. Bucka, 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 bucka. It's every single YouTube.
There's a movie. There's a documentary called It Might Get Loud,
yeah.
and it's Jack White, somebody else,
Jimmy Page
in The Edge, and it's so literally the Fredo of this family is so obvious. Jimmy Page is doing this stuff. Jack White is and you can tell he knows. Yeah. He's way outclassed. He has no business being there.
There's a scene in it where he goes, okay, I'm going to play this riff without all of my pedals and my effects pedals. And it just goes, doink, doink.
Yeah. So if you're the edge's neighbor, not only do you not get a view, but all night you have to hear that bucka, 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 bucka. Yeah.
There's remember Rattle and Hum, the YouTube documentary? I was seeing this movie alone. I was in Tempe, Arizona at the Improv down there, seeing this movie alone. And at one point in the movie, Bono goes to Edge, play the blues. And he goes, and I burst out laughing. And I was the only person in the theater like, no, this isn't the blues. It's just the one thing he does. He might as well play the tambourine for Christ. Linda McCartney was as adequate on the keyboards as he is on the guitar.
Tracy from the Partridge Family.
Yes, exactly.
Could have stood in at that point with her tambourine.
Much better looking than the Edge.
All right. Now, a bigger social problem that I stumbled onto today when I was complaining with Dr. Drew. There's this big story that was going around. I don't know if Dawson has it, but some federal judge on the whatever circuit was slated to speak in front of the Stanford.
Oh, yeah.
There's a Stanford law.
Stanford law. And
there was a U.S. Circuit Court Judge Kyle Duncan who was slated to speak for the Federalist Society.
So U.S. Circuit Court judge speaking to Stanford law students used to make sense at some point in our society, at all points in our society, except for about 10 minutes ago. The kids were very upset by it. And then,
I have some of the video.
Okay, we'll play that. Yeah.
So they're upset. They're not really letting him speak. There's definitely some animosity between Kyle and the students. And then Tyrion Steinbach, who is the Stanford University Law School Dean of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, decided to get up because he's like, "Is there an administrator that can kind of help me out here?"
Yeah.
So she steps up. And she's like, I'm an administrator. I can help you out.
All right. So the equity
She's
cow.
named after a Game of Thrones character. So right out of the gate.
It's going to join. All right. Here's what she has to say.
Yeah, so
Can I say something, Tim? Is that okay? Is that okay?
So you've invited me to speak here, and I'm being heckled nonstop. And I'm just asking for an administrator to sign.
That's an administrator.
Your racism is showing. I would like to.
I'd check my fly if somebody said that to me.
If you want a marketplace of ideas, you have gotten what you wanted, take it. Like, do you want an echo chamber?
So she's just saying, can I please speak? And he'll eventually
So she's going to speak. Now,
They're not letting me get.
Now, what she should be saying is this is an invited guest who's very distinguished. Maybe you disagree with some of the things he says. Let him say his piece, and then afterward we'll open it up to a Q&A session. But let's hear what she does say.
Because I'm so uncomfortable up here. And I don't say that for sympathy. I just say I'm deeply, deeply uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable because this event is tearing at the fabric of this community that I care about and I'm here to support.
Hero.
And I don't know, and I have to ask myself, and I'm not a cynic to ask this, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is this worth it?
Oh, they're snapping.
It isn't a setup. But for many people in this law school who work here, who study here, and who live here, your advocacy, your opinions from the bench land as absolute disenfranchisement of their rights and does land. Let me
These are law students.
now they're saying let her finish.
Let me
Anyway, it goes.
All right, couple things first. I was watching Bill Maher over the weekend, and he pointed out that I think the University of Michigan has 142 like equity management teams or people.
They're creating jobs. It's nice.
Right. It's now a cottage industry and a grift. But the point is you are there to make sure that the playing field is even in levels so that people can express a diversity of opinions, not be the advocate for one colored group, which is what it's turned into.
It's insane. And I'm no fan of a lot of what the Federalist Society espouses, but that's not the point of college.
Right. Yes.
It's also not the point of law. What are you going to do when these are all law students?
Right.
So you're going to go into a trial and have a fit because the other lawyer disagrees with you? That's your job.
Right.
That's the rest of your life.
It's literally the one skill most necessary for you to do your job is to hear the other counsel and then rebut it.
I will say 1969 to 1974 campuses were as insane as they are now. It was that bonkers.
We're back
then, and it's a pendulum, and it goes back. It goes back and forth. Yeah.
So now he can't speak. Yes,
Stanford Law School Dean Jenny Martinez did apologize to Duncan after it went viral, and that drew another protest from the students as well.
Sure,
she did
because they're nuts. But here's the whole point. What happened to these 22 through 24-year-old young people who are the upper crust of our society? If you're at Stanford and you're in law school, you're not driving a forklift behind the Ole's or the Home Depot. Why are you unable to process things? What happened to you? And I was talking about this with Dr. Drew, and it led me back to, I came in here in 2006, 2007 or 8, and no, actually, I must have been 2009, and I was all fired up over a cartoon called Wow Wow Wubbzy, which came out. This song came out in 2006, and my kids, and I watched it with them when they were like 2.5 or 3. I realized that we were ruining kids with the self-esteem movement. The problem with all these kids who are not kids anymore, they're 22, 23, 24-year-olds, is they were smack dab in the middle of self-esteem. And so this guy, who's a distinguished judge on the circuit, does not need to be heard because the 21-year-old snot-nosed little piece of shit who grew up getting their way constantly doesn't like what he has to say. I'll play you the vid. Yes.
There's another weird thing about that for that generation. It's the first generation that had DVDs in the car. They literally never had to kill time against their will. They were constantly entertained. They would say, they'd get in the car, I want to watch this. And you'd put it on because you don't have to deal with it.
Yeah, they'll never get interrupted by a leaf blower.
But it's also, it's just like, it's this, there's no sense of you have to wait for what you want. You have to take your
delayed
time.
gratification.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The adults are speaking.
Yeah.
You're just sitting there in the back.
Yeah.
Your dad's talking to a guy named Irv. He's talking about insurance, and you're just sitting in the back seat, just trying to occupy yourself. Oh. Here's Wow Wow. I've played it before. It's the coolest, but you have to understand.
I've never heard of Wow Wow Wubbzy.
You have to understand that this thing came out in 2006. This vid, which means it was 17 years ago. And when you watch this, you're probably 5 or 6. So you add 5 or 6 onto 17 years ago, and you have the exact age that everyone in that law school is right now. Let's just hear tell me how important this message is. Pause. All right, first up, the golden rule has nothing to do with you doing whatever the fuck you want all the time. That's the golden rule? We're fucked because no one applies it anymore.
I can tell you whether, in my opinion, where they went wrong with that. Like, I like half of that.
Yes.
Be yourself.
Fine.
Is cool or is fine. That's all.
You will not be recognized as being the coolest.
Right. It doesn't mean you're the best. What happened? Be yourself. It's fine. That's a good song too.
Right.
You're okay. You're like a brown shoe. Just
right.
Be yourself. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with what you like. You're fine. Other people are also fine.
Right. Right.
Don't shit yourself. Oops. Sorry. I don't know if I can do
Everybody. So you don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. You just be yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
That's a good message. It's when being yourself is the greatest.
Right.
That's where they go wrong.
Right. You should now be recognized as
you
the
don't
coolest.
say anything. You don't do anything, and everyone will recognize that you're the coolest.
I don't agree with that. And then you compare that to one of my favorite cartoons on Earth, which is the Charlie Brown Halloween special. It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, where it's literally just parents psychologically torturing a child. Like they all got together. We're going to give every kid candy, but this kid's just going to get a rock at every house.
Right.
There's clearly a plan.
Yeah, there's no way.
They all had to call.
A coincidence.
He's in a ghost with a lot of holes in it. Give him a rock.
Right.
What was going on in the neighborhood?
Yeah, it's a good point. It was way more than a coincidence. First off,
it was clearly planned.
During Halloween, I'll have a couple of rocks to hand out, mostly aggregate, smaller stuff. Yeah. That's the difference between cement and concrete. I don't want to get too technical. My point is, I'll be out of most of those rocks pretty early on.
Sure.
And I don't even know if my neighbors are serving up rocks to the kids.
It is one of those things when you look back and go, what were they thinking when they pitched that? And Charlie Brown only gets rocks.
Yes.
From the parents.
Right. Well, he was, I guess, being himself, but people didn't recognize that he was the coolest.
Yeah, and then Linus also was allowed to fall asleep in a field. If you remember, there really are no parents in that special
really
because
fast and loose
Lucy gets up at 4 a.m. and finds her brother asleep in a field.
Yes. So Wow Wow is strong in the self-esteem movement, and also there's a math that they don't work out, which is if everyone just does whatever they want and everyone is recognized as the coolest, then who would be the coolest?
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's that whole thing. It's the George Carlin bit. If everyone's special, then no one's special.
Yeah. Right. All right, we got March Madness. We got Huel's Jewels to do as well. We'll do all that with Dana Gould right after this. Let me tell you about Next Evo Naturals. Stress, it is a part of my life. Well, it's a part of everyone's life these days. So that means it's time to try something and see what we can do with all that pent-up stress. Get you up to your full potential. All right, so let me de-stress you. Check out Next Evo Naturals, the most clinically studied CBD brand ever. Their Smart Sorb technology can help you get a better start to the year and to the day. The products like Stress CBD Complex, clinically proven to reduce stress by up to 70% and improve concentration by 50%. I love these guys. I use this product. It works, especially if you want better sleep as well. If you get a better night's sleep, then you're better at everything the next day. 4 times better overall CBD absorption, proven in multiple clinical studies. Explore Next Evo products for less stress, better sleep, or as just a boost to your daily wellness in 2023. It's Next Evo Naturals, right, Dawson?
Make CBD a part of reaching your full potential with Next Evo Naturals. Go to nextevo.com/podcast and use promo code ADAM to get 20% off your first order of $40 or more. That's 20% off $40 or more at nextevo.com/podcast with code ADAM. In celebration of Jim Carolla's upcoming 92nd birthday, here's a list of 92 things Jim Carolla has never done. Number 36. Filled out a March Madness bracket. Just one of 92 things Jim Carolla has never done. Let's get back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Your dad's 92 as well?
He is 92, yeah. He'll be 93 in November.
I loved you regaling us the... are you allowed to jump ahead 9 months when someone's in their 90s and announce he will be? Should it be he might be 93 in November?
I think he will be. He had a stroke about 2 months ago, and he was in the hospital literally a day. It was just before Christmas. He threw his juice cup at the TV during the Bruins game. It's so funny because I'll talk to him on the phone and like the only effect of the stroke that I've seen on him is that he'll have a hard time coming up with a word, but he'll just go like, my brain doesn't work anymore. Like he's incredibly self-aware of it. And he's in terrifyingly good shape.
Does your dad have anything to leave behind?
Oh, I get a gun.
I was going to say beside a gun.
No.
Just a gun.
I get a gun.
But you're kind of a gun fanatic.
I can't wait.
Yeah. You and Ted Nugent constantly touring the country.
Yeah, I don't want. It's interesting. My mother lives in a nursing home now. My mother has dementia, and she thinks I'm a fire hydrant half the time. So I call up I'm driving the car. My dad calls up. He goes, you want to say hi to your mother? I go, sure, put her on. And people with dementia or Alzheimer's, they know they're supposed to know you. Mm-hmm. So they're like, oh, hi, I'm just out here in California. Yes, California, yeah. And she's just doing her best.
Very agreeable.
And so she goes, well, it's lovely to talk to you, and now I'm going to give you back to Uncle Fred.
Wow.
And my father takes the phone and goes, what'd you think of that?
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Now, is this all genes? Because your dad probably hadn't led a healthy, strong life, right?
My dad has been drinking. He's quit smoking in 1969, but he eats red meat like a fiend. He drinks every day, and I think it's just genes.
Yes.
I think it's just freakish Irish peasant genes. Like if they're dead, they can't work.
Right.
Keep them alive.
Yeah, the genes, which we don't like. We don't like to talk about the genes so much because we can't control it. You can control, eating organic, and you can control not smoking, and you can control going for long, brisk walks every day and all that kind of stuff. That's controllable. But the reality is whether it's the aesthetic, like just how good looking a person is, or longevity, genes always win, hands down.
Yeah. Is Jim active? Is he still drive? And
no, he has, good days and bad days, I would say.
My dad doesn't drive only because of the stroke.
He wasn't sawing away at the wheel even when he was in his, youth. He doesn't much like driving or independence or doing things for himself. So he's kind of fine just hanging out, having stepmom.
Sure.
Go get shit for him.
Sure.
He does a lot more reminiscing now. I think, like, I tried to get a job at the Baldwin Locomotive Factory outside of Philly in 1947. Like he'll just start dropping bizarre stories of I don't know where they came from.
I think as you get older, I don't know what it is, because like my mom thinks that and by the way, this has been years. It's not sad. It's sad, but I'm not. It's sad, but I'm not sad. It's fine. She thinks that she's in high school. Like she thinks that the facility she lives in is her high school. Mm-hmm. And she well, I have to get back to class now. But we're like, she's happy. She's not in pain. She's literally living in her own private Idaho. And she's got no problem, So it's just like, I'd rather that than her be self-aware and be miserable.
It is weird.
But they go back in time. Like she knows everything about 1946. She's good.
Right.
Yeah,
and then they have to do this thing where if they hang out long enough, everybody who could have potentially attended their funeral is gone. There's nobody left.
When you get into the 90s, every day someone dies.
Yes.
Every day someone dies.
Yes.
It's weird.
It becomes almost casual. Like that. I've heard. I've when I was waiting tables, there's an elderly table. Like they came from Leisure World or one of the homes, and they're eating like, oh, what happened to Beth? Oh, she passed, and they just keep eating. Like
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just every day you get to and people young, people that are like in their 70s die and you're in your 90s. Like, I didn't make it.
Speaking of weird brain droppings of weird memories that just land somewhere, I find myself as I get older just having rando memories.
Sure.
Not triggered by anything.
Yeah, that just pop up.
Dawson, you got to find the song from the Flintstones because
by the Way Outs?
No, not the Way Outs. Up. What's their song called? Up. They had like Way Out.
We're going way out.
Way out. That's where the fun is. Way out. Way out. Way out. Yeah, I remember that.
You can hear the vaginas drying.
Yes. No, I wasn't thinking about the Way Outs. It
sounds like reaching into a bag of Fritos. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was thinking about Pebbles and Bam Bam.
Oh, sure.
Singing a song
yep,
that I had never thought about in 45 years.
I know.
And it was called Let the Sun Shine In.
Open up your heart.
And let the sun shine in?
Shine in.
And there's a weird line where they said something like, Mommies never lose and daddies never win. I don't know what it was. It was a weird... I was laying in bed the other day, not because I was watching a Flintstones marathon. It's just because I had time alone with my brain without a leaf blower in the background.
Something pops up.
And something just fell out. And it was this song. Right. That's a lot of devil talk.
Yeah. This is a cover.
This is when
This
is when the Flintstones jumped the shark rock.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah. I remember watching this, and I forgot about the devil. I was thinking about mommies and daddies for some reason because the montage was the parents arguing and Fred and Barney screaming on a sofa.
Clearly, they had an episode that came in about 4 minutes short.
Yes. What is the origins of this song?
Oh, it's
and why did it land in my mouth?
It's
like
also
3 days ago.
You look at these shows and you have to realize that like the reason that the Flintstones was fun, there's a great sentence like the reason. Listen up, ladies. Get closer to the radio. The reason the Flintstones was funny is because it was a parody of the Honeymooners. And so I was like, it's kind of a parody of the Honeymooners. Here's something I didn't realize until like the Munsters was a parody of the Donna Reed show.
Oh, right.
And if you watch the Donna Reed show, which nobody has seen because it wasn't in syndication, but like at the time it was on TV and it was huge. It was the same opening credits. Everybody got up to leave, and Donna Reed gave them their lunch as they left. And the Munsters, it was the same thing. So when you watch it in that regard, it's like, oh, I get it. It's a parody of the Donna Reed show. Everything is scary instead of nice. That makes a little more sense.
What's the original song?
So it says that it was a recording by Stuart Hamblin's Cowboy Church Sunday School, which actually peaked at number 8. And so they wrote, it was Cowboy
oddly,
Church
Sympathy for the Devil was number 7.
Yeah,
so
right.
But the most famous recording of this song for baby boomers is from the Flintstones.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know, but maybe it's just that thing where I'm marching toward my 90s and weird thoughts are popping out of my head.
It's like they need to shuffle around the files to make more memory. So they move. All right, take that Evel Knievel toy, put that in the top.
Yeah. Take every compliment I've ever received and throw that out. We got to make room on the hard drive for Evel Knievel toys.
The red thing that you would wind up the scramble, the motorcycle with, and you just bang your knuckles on the counter.
I revised my "Did you have a good childhood?" theorem to Levi's versus Toughskins. If you had Levi's, good. Schwinn versus Huffy. If you had a Schwinn, you were doing good.
Oh boy!
And did you have the Evel Knievel Sky Cycle wind-up toy?
I'm 1 for 3 on that.
You had the Evel Knievel,
I had Evel Knievel, but then I was Tough Kids and I was Toughskins and a Huffy for sure.
All right. Shall we get into a little March Madness?
Yes.
In Naples, Florida, doing 2 shows that evening. Could you spare me the stink eye just this one time and show just a little humanity and a little decency? LAXTSA. And I don't even know what TSA stands for, by the way.
Travel Safety Administration.
Thank you, and that's why Gould is here. What's next?
Also, they've weaponized the word sir. Sir.
Sir.
Sir.
Sir.
Yeah, sir. Yes, I'm going to need you to go ahead and turn around for me, okay, right now, sir?
It's a sign of respect, not go F yourself.
Sorry, Dawson. I had a woman say to me while I was drinking like a large Starbucks at the front check-in, which was 80 feet from where the metal detector was, and she goes, throw that away right here. And I said, well, I'll just sip on it until I get to the end, and then I'll toss it before I go through the metal detector. And she said, throw it away now. And I said, no, I'm just going to, it was an $8, and I had to wait 45 minutes for it. I'm going to nurse it in this line, and when I get to the end, I'll throw it away. And she looked at me and she went, well, then get. She literally yelled, get. If she had an app on her phone that was the sound of a shotgun pumping, she would have played it for me.
Get. Granny from the Beverly
Hills? Yeah, slightly darker shade, but yes. All right, sorry, Dawson.
That rant went into overtime. Now, Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor.
All right, I'll tiptoe around this because I know we have a fan in the room. But there's way too much chick think going on. I don't mind chick think at the grocery market. I don't even mind it at the house. But at the Supreme Court, we must stop all the fucking chick think. Sotomayor, a couple months ago, when they were talking about mandatory vaccinations for every cop, every fireman, everybody in any business that had more than 99 employees, she got out there and sounded like one of my mom's friends from high school. There's just hundreds of kids, there's thousands, hundreds of thousands of kids are in hospitals right now, and they're hooked up to ventilators, and somebody's got to do something. Wrong, wrong, and wrong. At least get your fucking information straight before you pitch a mandatory vaccination that's experimental and having side effects on every single one of the subjects you rule over. Look, you can debate, you can argue, you can provide alternative viewpoints, but you can't come in with a load of statistical bullshit and start pulling at your hair and get fucking hysterical. You're a Supreme Court justice. Fucking act like it, bitch.
Now, returning to the California Conference. Probably the hardest bracket in the whole tournament. It's last year's tournament winner, the LA Marathon, versus perennial all-star Governor Gavin Newsom. LA Marathon is up.
All right, first things first. We cannot just have one marathon where the entire city is shut down because a bunch of folks are trying to prove something to themselves. We need a bunch of miniature marathons spread out on every high school running track in Southern California. Put the Kenyans over at Reseda High. I always feel bad for the fast people that have to run past the person who's wearing the Florsheim dress shoes and trying to prove something to the world. Put the fucking fast guys over at Reseda High or Lancaster High or Chatsworth High and let them fucking duke it out. It'll be like flat track oval racing, but with Kenyans. We'll see how fast those guys. And by the way, there could be spectators then. Take the fat people that just lost 86 pounds, who just had the bypass stomach shrinking surgery, and send them over to Eagle Rock High and let them prove something else. Meanwhile, I will be navigating the city with freedom because you guys will be going in circles on a track endlessly.
Governor Gavin Newsom.
It is a bad sign when somebody governs a country, and I should say state, and I have the conversation with adults and educated adults frequently, and I say, what is he doing? Like, does he know what he's doing? What's he think he's doing? He's going to declare war on the homeless. He came in here, and 9 years ago, he sat right where you're sitting, and he explained to me the true face of homelessness was a mother of three who had a full-time job but was getting paid minimum wage. I don't see that. I see guys with a fucking load in their pants looking for fentanyl and a place to die. So if you can't even identify the problem, how could you possibly address it? And then everyone goes, hey, he's making a run at the White House. And then I go, good, get him out of California. And then I go, wait a minute, he will run everything. I don't know what's attractive about him. I know he is attractive, but haven't we learned? What about Michael Avenatti? He was a striking-looking man who ripped off every client he had, is in federal prison right now. Please stop judging the books by their covers.
He is stunningly handsome.
He is. He's all right, piercing.
We should pick our winners.
All right.
So, all right, let's go through the first bracket here.
I do agree with you on the fentanyl thing. It's like I don't see the family.
I haven't seen that family.
Yeah. I had. Well, I'll tell you in the next segment about my trip to the emergency room.
Oh, really?
Really eye-opening.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when it's raining.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, let's choose between the TSA and Supreme Court Justice. I personally think the TSA should move on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought it was lively, and just an LAX TSA ruining your day before your trips.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they should advance. And then, what do you guys think? Doss?
We got Gavin Newsom.
Oh, and then between the next one. Yeah, so between LA Marathon and Gavin Newsom should move on. Because even though you complimented him a little bit,
it's more universal. I think it's more. I don't think people outside of LA get bent out of shape about the about the LA Marathon.
The marathon.
You're right. Yeah, it's a wider range.
All right.
Gavin Newsom and the TSA advance. Tune in for more March Madness tomorrow.
The TSA is my favorite thing on earth. Someone wringing the most out of a small amount of authority.
Right.
They really dig
You're in
in
charge of 20 yards of real estate, and you're Darth Vader. Like,
yes.
Sir. And they'll just make up rules. You can't have a flashlight on a Wednesday.
Right. Right. Yes, and in an ever-changing landscape of rules about leaving your shoes on, taking your shoes off, the belt. The one that's the newest, most vexing is the jacket.
Yes.
There is jacket, trench coat,
outerwear,
big, puffy outerwear, and then there's sweat jacket. And I'll sail through every airport in the country with the sweat jacket on, and then at some point I'll hit one, and they'll go, take the sweat jacket off.
I'm gonna throw one at you that'll drive you even more berserk. I'm almost afraid to mention it. I might back away a little bit. At the gate, when they bring out if your suitcase doesn't fit in this, you have to check it. And the only thing that can fit in it is an 8x10 manila envelope.
Right, yeah. The template.
And I finally said, this is just a random thing to expedite boarding.
Right.
Because nothing fits in this.
Yes, I have figured out that anything that's hard-shelled or has wheels on it cannot travel with that. I have to travel full duffel bags.
Yeah.
I have to be able to open the baggage space above my head, see that it's completely full, and go, I can fucking stuff this thing in like I'm repointing bricks with mortar. I'll just wedge it in there and mash it shut. The guys with the turtle hard shell shit, they don't have a chance.
And I don't mind you saying, look, we're running late. We got to get the plane out of here. Everybody check their bags. Just do that. Don't go, well, I'm sorry, sir. This doesn't fit. If your suitcase doesn't fit in your pocket, you've got to check it. Well, no, because I've been checking this bag on planes for 30 years.
There's no consistency.
I've told everyone a million times, if you got wheels and they're flagging people, pick your bag up.
Yeah.
With you dragging it behind you with the wheels is an indicator.
That's a good one too,
they'll jump on you. You can take the ones with the wheels, fold the handle in, and just sort of slide it under your arm and walk in. They will not pull
and
it.
And then
but
you get
if
on
you're
the plane
it,
and there's tons of space.
Yeah.
It's just they just need to get out of there.
Yeah. All right, Dana, we're going to do a little Jules.
He's going to tell us about the emergency room.
Oh, the emergency room, yeah.
Oh, just how much time do I have? 4 minutes?
Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
Watching, it was rainy night in L.A. Cold, rainy night. Sitting there, my wife and I was like, all right, we're not going to do anything tonight. It's rainy. Let's just get in the bed, watch a movie. Kids are set. Animals are on the bed watching a movie. Watching Sunset Boulevard. My wife gets up, goes to the bathroom, comes out of the bathroom and goes, hey, I need to go to the emergency room.
Wow.
So, okay. If you need to go, you're going to go. And there are homeless people in this town that need housing.
Mm-hmm.
There are drug and alcohol addicts that need help.
Yep.
And then there are people that God made just for Halloween. And if it's not Halloween, they're in the emergency room at Cedar Sinai. There was a guy wearing a bag, people barking. Beetlejuice was there because it's raining.
Yeah.
And they just want to get in out of the rain. And they all come into the emergency room.
Right.
And I literally bumped into a guy and went, excuse me. And he went, eh.
Wow.
It wasn't even it was like You want the Goblin Hospital.
Right.
That's in the woods. We were there 12 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, 12 hours, 9 to 9.
Is your wife okay?
Yes, she had a diverticulitis, which I don't recommend.
Yeah, Drew has talked about that before.
Well, that's women. I don't want to be, everything was great.
Right.
Until we got married.
Yeah.
And then they get the ring on that finger and the green stringy diarrhea comes out. That's how it goes.
It's like clockwork.
It's like the warranty in a truck. As soon as it expires, the transmission blows up, right?
But no, it was she's much better. And literally, like they said, it's this, and then we were about to leave, and we were there 12 hours. The guy comes in like 10 minutes before we were going to leave. He goes, "Oh, they misread your chart. It's this. Take this." And it was just like,
wow.
They just happened to catch us.
The emergency room is so uncomfortable for me on so many different levels that I find myself in the unenvious position of usually attempting people to avoid it. Like they'll go, I need to go here, and I'll go, just sleep it off, or you'll be fine.
But it's any problem you have, they send you to the emergency room. That's not what it's for. But we had to go back a week later because she had the medication wasn't working, and we had to go through the entire thing again.
Yes,
it's madness. And I was gonna say it was weird because my wife is so much healthier than I am, but she's not. She eats healthier than I do.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't seem to matter, to the point that when I call my wife, when I'm out, and when you were out, you live with somebody, you call them and go, "Hey, I'm out. Do you need anything?"
Mm-hmm.
That person gets 6 words. "A latte from Starbucks. Thank you."
Right.
"Some potato chips would be great."
Right.
"Nell would like more frozen waffles."
Right.
She is just, yes. Could you go to Nature Well, but not the Nature Well near us? Could you go to the Nature Well Annex by the cargo hangover at the Van Nuys Municipal Airport?
Right.
There's no sign. I want a green apple smoothie, but instead of a smoothie, have them make it as a juice and replace the green apple with kale emulsion and No, I won't. For one thing, I'm home. I've been home for 20 minutes.
Right.
You're still giving your order.
Right.
I can eat a Snickers, drink a Diet Coke, and do 10 jumping jacks without shattering a femur.
Yes.
And
you've got the Gould genes.
I've got the genes. Yeah. Why is it? And I always date hippies.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is as big a hippie as you'll find.
Mm.
There's a lot of crystals in the house.
Important.
But here's one thing I can tell you about people that are really healthy in terms of what they eat. They're sick every day.
Yes.
They are sick.
No. I'll tell you what it is.
Every day.
My mom is a hippie. She had 3 modes. She had, I have a cold, I'm getting over a cold, and I feel one coming on.
Yeah.
Those were her 3 modes. All valid reasons never to pick you up from the airport or cook you a meatloaf.
Yeah.
Now, what happens is they have a sort of relationship with food and the environment and what it does to them and how it affects them, which is sort of flawed, but you can't tell them you're wrong or whatever. Yeah. So they start talking to you about stuff and they say, I like to get a massage, go get the massage and it releases the toxins. And then when you drink the water, you flush the toxins. I am
married to your mother.
Right.
I am married to your mother.
You can't explain, hey, baddie bitch, I don't even know what toxins are. I've talked to Dr. Drew 300 times about toxins. Yeah. He's like, you got to tell me what we're talking about. There's no toxins in you.
Drink a lot of water. When is that not true?
It's a good point. Yeah, breathe a lot of air.
Yeah.
So they have this relationship with stuff, and then it's how it affects them. So then it's like, well, when you eat red meat, you have this rush, but then you bottom out. If you have chocolate, you feel the initial surge, but then you have that chocolate doldrums that happens after that. Lots of weird speculation about how they're feeling and what made them feel that way. Lots of my stomach's not good. It's probably that slice of pizza we had 4 months ago. And then you go, I ate the same pizza, I'm fine. And I go, yeah, but I could tell. So, then they start sort of almost self-medicating. They go, I need the smoothie with the ginger and the eye of newt in it. you're not dealing now. The guys I grew up with, the guys you grew up with, they could eat a cat turd rolled in dirt and they would be fine.
Yes.
But it's more psychological than it is physiological.
Yes.
And also, there's also a thing that women do too where they go, I don't feel good. And you go, what do you got? And they go, I don't feel good. And I go, you got a cold? What do you have? You have a fever? Like, what do you have? You have a headache? And they go, I can't just not feel good. I'm sort of like, no, not really. You got to declare a major.
They get the willy. They get the willies.
Yes, the willies. Yeah, and maybe the vapors.
And that is the other thing. Like is the shopping, like crow uterus tea. No, this is a wizard shopping list.
Right.
I'm not going to the warlock store.
Turmeric everything.
And if you had to, and again, like if you had to cast a bunch of sick people, like if you're shooting a movie in a hospital, you need people to fill a sick ward. Get any shift from Whole Foods.
Yeah.
Their skin is sallow. Their hair is dry. They're too weak to point. They just have to turn their torso and hope their arm goes.
Yes. Yeah. No, but it's a sort of obsession. I mean, there's a little bit of it's more psychological than it is physiological is what I would say. And my mom, who was sort of the original hippie, was constantly talking about how food made her feel.
Yeah.
And now, so I would challenge anybody who does this. I'll put whatever in the pulverizer and I'll put a bunch of cinnamon in it, and you won't know if you're eating 7-grain sprouted bread that's been pulverized or cow lung.
No, you are.
And then you tell me how you feel in an hour, because they could not. That's the whole. That's the whole thing.
It just like I don't mind. Like, you want to do it, great. Great. I support you. But I don't want to spend another hour going to a 13-step instructions for a juice.
Right.
It's not going to make a damn bit of difference.
Agreed.
It's just juice.
All right. Shall we do?
I'm sorry, like Leno from the 80s. What's my beef? Leno, my beef?
Yeah. No, Leno's a perfect example of what we're talking about. He literally lives off of Chick-fil-A.
Is that what he? Yeah.
The most distressed I've ever seen Leno is when we were leaving the track at Sears Point or Napa. What the hell's that track?
Sonoma?
Sonoma. Sorry, we're leaving Sonoma to a private airport to take a private jet back to L.A. And he was in the back of the car being driven to the private airport, which is in Sonoma, and the track's in the middle of Sonoma. And he's like, any Chick-fil-A between here and the airport? And it's like, no, just Vineyards, Jay. Nothing. No Chick-fil-A. It's like, no, Sonoma's not big Chick-fil-A country, and we're out in kind of the sticks of Sonoma.
Yeah.
Like, so nothing. You got Chick-fil-A at the airport? No, it's just nothing. It's just a private little airport. But that guy, it just lives off of Cokes and Chick-fil-A and French fries.
I eat 3 things.
And is up on his feet every single day riding a motorcycle, turning a wrench.
Yeah, I eat 3 things.
What are your 3 things?
I eat turkey sandwiches, coffee, and chicken and rice.
That's it.
Yeah.
Do you ever go out for Thai food or Indian or anything?
Yeah, well, I'm married, so like I'll go do all that stuff. But like left to my own devices, I have coffee for breakfast, a turkey sandwich for lunch, and some chicken and rice for dinner. I'll be very happy.
All right, we'll do some news and maybe a little Huel's Jewels. We'll see right after this. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Love these guys. Always have. Always been with them. And I've never left. And the fact that they're sponsoring this program just sends a shiver down my leg. It's O'Reilly. It's O Rewards bonus points month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Shop in store or online. Get points and rewards sent straight to your phone or your inbox. You can get 2, 3, or even 4 times the bonus points on select purchases to get you to your next reward even faster. Receive a $5 reward for every 150 O Rewards points. And if you're already an O Rewards member and not receiving the rewards, Just add your email or mobile phone number and get a $10 reward just for updating your existing account. And you sign up. And it's quick and it's easy. Just go to O'ReillyAuto.com, O'ReillyAuto.com, or do it in a store. That's an O'Reilly store. The Jordan Harbinger Show, a different kind of sponsor for this episode, the Jordan Harbinger Show. Well, if you're a fan of fascinating podcasts and interesting people, you should definitely check this one out. There's an episode for everyone, no matter what you're into. Jordan talks with Scott Adams about persuasion in a world where facts don't matter anymore. Man, is he right. Or you go inside the dark world of wildlife trafficking. You'll always find something useful to apply to your own life, like routine changes to boost productivity or slight mindset tweaks to change how you see the world. Jordan's a good guy. We've had him on many times. I know the man well, and he's worth a listen. We enjoy the show, and we know you will too. So you can search The Jordan Harbinger Show. That is HARB as in boy, IN as in Nancy, GER on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
In the spirit of Murrow, Jennings, Cronkite, here's another great moment in local news.
Wednesday, mild, some sunshine, 60. Thursday, partly sunny skies, and 57. And to another woman who likes to be double-fisted in a different way, I think, Jess.
She means beer. She means beer. Guys, she means beer. Don't put me on YouTube. My God.
That's a great moment in local news. Now, back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Dana Gould just stepped out to take a whiz. He'll be back in 18 seconds. Peter Tilden will be in after that. We got the news with the Max Zapata. So why don't we just jump into some news?
Sure. All right. So it's March Madness right now, but there are also some other NCAA upsets that happened recently, one being in wrestling. So Spencer Lee, he's a 3-time national champion from Iowa. And he was looking to get his 4th national title. He had a 58-game winning streak, and he wrestled Purdue's Matt Ramos. And Matt actually won from Purdue. He beat the favorite, and it was a big.
Guys named Matt always have an advantage on the mat.
He does.
That's their namesake.
Exactly.
So every tournament's a hometown tournament if your name is Matt.
Right. So I'm going to play you this clip of Matt pinning Spencer Lee and advancing, but then it'll cut to Spencer's mom. And this clip went
I saw
viral.
this. Yeah.
So Matt won.
Mom is devastated.
And that's unfortunate.
She crushes her glasses.
Those are glasses.
This is what happens here, Jim. There's so much at stake.
I love the passion of the mom. I do. I love. You know what? I like the opposite of anything my mom did or was, and that's the opposite. I go for the opposite of my mom.
She broke her glasses.
She was that upset. Yeah, this is a big deal.
I get, like, they're the guys who take the golf club and smash it over their thigh. They're the guys who take their hat and throw it on the ground.
Yeah.
Who eventually
Sheriff Lobo. His name is Sheriff Lobo.
Right. God damn it. Ding dang it.
It's them Dukes.
Them Duke boys. You know, got to throw the hat down. But crushing of the eyewear, that's tough.
Yeah. Now you can't see.
You're not going to be able to drive home. Well, so obviously that clip went viral, and then another clip of Spencer and his mom also was posted on. You can see their relationship with wrestling and why she was so passionate. So yeah, this is just them in their living room, and looks like the mom is a wrestler too.
They're grappling. Yeah. So she's doing an arm bar on him.
I don't ever want to touch my mother.
No, me neither.
At all, much less that much.
Well, what if you get a boner? Because that's not really controllable sometimes. Not when you're 14 and a half, number one. Number two.
At this point, wrestling my mother would get a boner. It's just like she's like a jar, she's like a big thing, a Miracle Whip with some chicken bones in it.
Wow.
That's all.
You don't want to wrestle that.
Yeah.
No.
I'd kill her. I could snap her in half.
So here's the thing. you want some sort of balance. Like, I think you want parents that care, but not that much. But somewhere between our upbringing and this kid's upbringing. Because if they're snapping glasses and crushing eyewear,
it's so permanent.
I bet her ophthalmologist pitched her on contacts like several months ago, and she's like, how am I going to pull those out and throw them on the ground and put them out with my foot like it's a cigarette butt in disgust of my son losing a potential wrestling match? But how much, where was your mom in the caring department, Dana?
Well, very, very, very empathetic. Yeah, incredibly empathetic woman.
Did she attend all of your events?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have that many, but she would go, yeah.
How would she react if it didn't work out well?
I only did like plays and they were all fine.
Right.
Yeah.
So she didn't have any.
Yeah.
What about your brothers?
They were more athletes. That was my dad's kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Where was your dad at in the support department?
Murray Wilson level of, my dad was scouted to pitch for the Cleveland Indians. Mm-hmm. But instead, he was also scouted by the U.S. Army to go to Korea.
Wow! Wow!
So he's he's a coach and an athlete and very into that. And I've told the story before. Because I did not like sports or hunting, he thought I was gay and couldn't reconcile. No, I'm straight, but I don't like that stuff. To this day, I don't think he gets it completely.
Mm. I like this mom. I like her passion.
Yeah.
I like the fact that she's, creating jobs for Warby Parker or whatever she's doing, Lens Crafters or something. And I like a passionate parent. I said it on the yesterday show.
But as long as she's supportive, she's like, I can't believe you. Like, you don't want that Murray Wilson, Brian, you're flatting. Brian.
What's that reference? Sir?
Oh, it's a very famous tape of the Beach Boys were managed by their father, Murray.
Murray.
Yeah, and there's a famous tape of them and Murray was an abusive monster of a man. And there's a tape of them trying to record Help Me Rhonda, and they're like, help me, stop. Help, Dennis, stop it. What, you got any guts? Come on, you got any guts? I'm a genius too. Let's go.
Wow.
Help me, stop it. It's a horrible, horrible guy.
Well, I'll try to find that.
It's easy to find. He had a glass eye. He lost one of his eyes in an industrial accident. He used to take out his glass eye and make the kids look in the socket. Look what I did for you kids.
Wow.
I lost my eye for you kids.
Wow.
Supposedly Dennis is deaf Brian is deaf in one ear because his father hit him so hard.
With like the open hand?
Yeah. Lost hearing in his ear. And
but
that's why the Beach Boys wrote, only somebody who's never been allowed to have fun would write the song Fun. Yes. Because it's aspirational.
Right.
It's like, this must be what it's like if you have fun.
But, you look at Joe Jackson, father of the Jackson 5, and Michael Jackson, maybe Ike Turner. Maybe this is where greatness is forged.
Absolutely. We did a cartoon 100 years ago called Murray Wilson Rock and Roll Dad. I did it with Peter Bagg, and it was Murray Wilson, Joe Jackson, and Freddie Lennon, John Lennon's crappy dad, who took off when he was born and came back when he was rich. Hey, buddy. Hey, pal. I think it's overcompensation. It's overcompensation.
We have
look at. I want to talk to the astronauts' mothers and fathers. Talk about overcompensation.
I think
if I leave the Earth, will you think I'm good? What if I left the Earth?
We have the Murray Wilson tape.
There it is. Oh.
Rhonda, you look so fine, and I know. Hey, you missed the sicko pretty bad there. Turn that down a little bit. Help me, Rhonda, yeah.
Brian, you're coming in shrill. We're missing all of those. Help me, Rhonda, on Mike. We missed it all. Okay, you're doing great now. Listen up, Brian. You got a wonderful tune here. I'm sorry to yell. Al, loosen up a little more. I'll say sexy Rhonda more. Rhonda more soft and sexy. Brian, have the guys loosen up. You got a beautiful tune here. Loosen up. You're so tight, fella. I can't believe it.
All right, put your overdub on now. Here we go.
Those aren't the words. No, listen, syncopate a little. What are the words? Sing it.
Since you put me down, I've been out doing it in my head.
Show him
I love this song, by the way.
Sing it.
Since you put me down.
No. Since you put me down. Go Go on that kick.
Since you put me down.
No.
Since you put me down.
No, you're since you put me down, baby, da ba doo da do da da.
Don't sing without him sing it once.
You want me to leave, Brian?
No, I just wanted you to let him sing it.
Mother and I can leave now.
Oh, Mother.
Here we go, duplicated like last time, huh?
When you sing Rhonda, make it sexy and soft. Rhonda, you look so fine. Okay?
Rhonda, you look so fine. Look so fine. And I know it wouldn't take much time for you to help me, Rhonda. Help me get her out of my heart.
Help me, Rhonda. Bang, syncopated.
Wow. Most guys who lose a part in an industrial accident don't have this kind of drive when it comes to harmony.
He was, but they ended up, I'm a Beach Boys freak. They ended up, he would come into the studio and they gave him a mixing board that wasn't attached to anything.
Oh, yeah.
Ride the faders.
Yeah.
Because he was a horrible human being.
It's like the steering wheel at Autotopia at
Yes,
Disneyland
exactly.
or something.
Yeah.
There's just a carriage bolt
Doesn't really
that
do
just goes in a circle.
Yeah, no, he was a monsters man.
Wow. But
Yeah.
yet we
But
got
again,
the Beach Boys.
Yeah, but that's who else would write that? Who else would write that? A guy, no, help, no.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I haven't
one
wondered,
note
like,
in.
yeah, the Native Americans learning how to do a war chant. Hey, no. Hey, no.
I was at a restaurant last night and Be True to Your School came on.
Weird song.
It's a weird song.
Rah, sis, boom, bong, get that ball and fight.
Yeah, it's weird. You know that song?
I don't know that
Be
one.
true to your school now. It's
possibly the whitest song ever made.
Yes.
Ever written.
I think it is. It's like when some guy comes around, starts talking trash. I show him, we're number one in the state, and then he's got a jacket with a letter on it.
And I get around. There's a line in I Get Around. It's so it's like I get around. The other, my buddies and me are getting real well known. Yeah, the bad guys know us and they leave us alone. It's a weird brag. The bad guys leave me alone.
I never knew that was a lyric. I always thought he said the bad guys lost and they leave us alone.
No, the bad guys know us and they leave us alone. That's a weird.
Now we got to hear that. My entire life, I've been singing
It's
the
a
bad
weird
guys
line.
lost and they leave us alone. The other thing that's crazy about the Beach Boys, as long as we're going down this road, is when they start talking car stuff. Like there are rock, pop, car songs,
right?
And there are songs like Deep Purple's "Highway Star." Deep Purple is singing like, "I got a big car that's got fat wheels on it. It goes real fast," But they're not getting that specific.
Right.
The Beach Boys are talking about quad ram induction and a 310 gear in the back with a quad, with a quasi pack and a 409.
No one in the Beach Boys knew that.
They couldn't.
I know who did. No, I'm not.
Vic Edelbrock doesn't know all this shit.
It was a guy named Gary Usher, who was their friend from Hawthorne, who was a car nut. And none of the Beach, this is a whole 30-second version. None of the Beach Boys surfed except Dennis, who oddly is the guy that drowned to death. But he was like, no, you should write about surfing. And like, all right. They didn't know what to write about, so they wrote about surfing. And then they literally had this business thing like, look, we need to appeal to people that don't live in California. What do people who don't surf do? Cars. They like cars. Okay, great. Who knows cars? Gary. Get Gary in here. Gary, we need to write songs about cars.
To get the traction, I'm riding the clutch.
Yeah.
The pressure plate's burning.
And
that machine's too much.
Yeah.
Pressure plate. They're talking about throw-out bearings and slave cylinders and master cylinders and quad ram induction and compression ratios. And the guy's got a 409. It's insane how much weird technical shit
they cram into that song,
into a pop.
There's a spec sheet for reference.
Yeah, highway stars are big fat tires and everything. They don't know anything about cars. They're just
got 6 steering wheels.
Yeah. We have to get around queued up to the bad guys.
bag.
Yeah.
I always insert bad guys lost in this alone, and that's what it sounds like to me. But as soon as I read
you
Noah's,
never think that somebody would sing, "Yeah, the bad guys leave us alone."
I didn't. You know what it is there's a small window. I was 9 years old, and I committed to my lyrics on this song.
Never like a Bond. This is a very vicious villain. You have to find a way to get him to leave you alone.
That's right. All right, what else we got, Max Pato?
Leave me alone, Goldfinger.
All right, so speaking of sports parents, so Daniel Briere, he is the Philadelphia Flyers' new GM, and he's in the news really just because of his son. So his son Carson.
Oh, the wheelchair dude?
Yeah.
Oh, this is awful.
So Carson, he's a hockey player. He was at a bar, and so what happened was there's just security footage of him and his buddy at the top of these stairs, and Carson ends up sitting in the chair. You guys can just play it on mute here. So Carson's the guy in the white hat there. So they walk up, and they're just talking, and there's a huge party in the other room. So eventually Carson is going to sit in this wheelchair, and then get up and then just throw the wheelchair down the stairs.
Yeah. Now the wheelchair's being used. This is an old building that doesn't have ramps or an elevator. It was grandfathered in. So what they have, literally, if you need to go to the bathroom, they have somebody carry you down the stairs to go to the bathroom.
And that's exactly what happened. So this is at Sullivan's Pub in Erie. A woman who is a double amputee.
Oh, boy.
Left her wheelchair at the top of the bar stairs and was carried down to the bathroom. Yeah, Carson threw the wheelchair down. So what happened was an employee of the bar saw this and tweeted the video out saying, look, I usually don't tweet this kind of stuff, but this is egregious and something needs to be done, and identified the guy.
It's you're drunk and there's something with wheels on it at the top of the stair.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard for drunk guys. It's like asking a cat, don't paw at that string that's hanging down from the bottom of that table. It's sort of like it's impulsive for drunk guys.
It goes back to that thing. It's like you have a choice between being the cool guy and being a not cool guy, and you're drunk. So the choice has been made for you. And that's fine, but yes, you did it. Now you have to be responsible for what you did. Being drunk is not an excuse.
Right.
And it's a double amputee's chair.
So there's a GoFundMe that was started.
But they were like, I don't want the money.
Yes.
I just want the chair fixed, because they did mess up the chair.
Oh, really?
And she's like, but the person was a woman. She's like, I don't want the money. I don't want the attention. Just fix my chair and leave me alone.
That's exactly right.
That's
And she
nice.
donated the rest to the disabled community.
Yeah.
So Carson has some background on Carson, the kid who pushed the wheelchair. So he was actually on another team for Arizona State, and he was dismissed from that team for partying too hard. So this is booze. So this is a booze thing.
Booze driven.
But so now Carson has been charged with
the idea of a hockey player partying too hard is really bizarre.
At Arizona State.
I know. How do you party too hard at Arizona State?
That's also like being thrown out of Motley Crue in 1989.
That's really true.
For partying too hard.
Yeah.
Like, what do you have to do?
Kicked out of the Doobie Brothers for having a beard.
Right.
So Carson was charged with criminal mischief and disorderly conduct. And but he did say that, I'm no excuse for my actions. I will do whatever I can to make up for the serious lack of judgment.
And he's not. He should have been charged. They should come up with a rule. You were charged with being a douchebag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it.
Mischief. Mischief is my thing. Is like when the news anchor or the police chief is like the gentleman entered the elderly woman's home. The gentleman held a machete to her head and then violently anally raped her. And then the gentleman is now in custody. It's like, stop using gentleman. And don't use mischief when somebody sets a church on fire.
You've been a most willing victim. I chose you for your beauty.
I said good day, and he throws a scarf over his shoulder. I leave my calling card as a pocket square.
'Tis I, the machete-wielding Pimpernel.
That's right. All right. What else?
You're not really a gentleman's club. I've seen no gentleman going into the gentleman's club. They all look like that hockey player.
That's the guy on the label of the Johnny Walker booze bottle.
Yeah.
That's the gentleman.
Yeah. Or community chest.
Right. All right, sorry.
All right, so Gwyneth Paltrow, she's scheduled to appear in a Park City, Utah court in a lawsuit from 2016 that alleges she crashed into a man while skiing. and left the scene of the crash.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how skiing works.
Well, you don't want to stick around, I guess.
Gravity eventually will remove you from the scene of the crash.
And by the way, celebrities should just stay out of the snow. There's always just terrible stories of celebrities.
There's Sonny
skiing.
Bono. Yeah. There's the whole Kennedy family.
Jeremy Renner.
There's Jeremy Renner.
Oh,
There's what? God, you probably do an impersonation. The wife of Liam Neeson.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
She whacked her head.
Who's that?
Who's the wife of Liam Neeson?
Yeah.
You'll know it when you hear it.
Natasha Richardson.
Yes.
I think I know.
There's Ralph.
Let me tell you what's going to happen. You're going to hit your head very hard.
She had a helmet on too.
Oh, really? The weird thing about Sonny Bono is he died skiing because he skied into a tree.
Yeah.
At the Palm Springs Film Festival, they give out the Sonny Bono Vision Award. It's just he didn't see a tree.
Right? Yeah, that's the opposite of vision.
Yeah, that's.
There's F1 legend Ralph Schumacher, who's still in a coma because he hit a tree.
Ugh.
A lot of celebs. Get away from the snow.
Don't go snow. Yeah, go on the snow.
Get away from the snow.
Well, so Paltrow, she's going to stand trial. So what happened was there's a guy named Terry Sanderson, a doctor, a retired optometrist, and he alleged that he suffered 4 broken ribs, pain, suffering, permanent traumatic brain injury, loss of enjoyment of life,
Lots of enjoyment.
emotional distress and disfigurement. So it's for $3.1 million. But Paltrow has a countersuit saying that you hit me from behind. What are you talking about?
This is pretty unprovable. And I want to say this about the kid that pushed the thing down the
Can I sue
wheelchair.
Gwyneth Paltrow if I'm not enjoying things?
Yes. She's going to have a class action.
This is opening up a whole
That's
new
the thing people
world.
sue for loss of enjoyment of life.
Well,
he looks so much like a John Ennis character. It's not even funny.
And you think about the potential pool of people who could join your class action lawsuit, which is when they go, were you deployed at Camp Lejeune from 1961 to 1987? That's a decent sized group of humans,
but easily proven.
Right. But if you just go, are you not enjoying your life as much as you think you should?
And would you like money from Gwyneth Paltrow?
I think that includes all of North America. Right? I would sign up for that. Do you have mesothelioma? No. Did you work in the shipbuilding industry? No, I didn't. Do you enjoy your life to its maximum potential? No, I do not.
Well, come on board.
You know who Gwyneth Paltrow is?
Yes, I do.
I thought for sure her lawsuits were going to be a lot of chicks burning their twat on a candle or something, right? She has her vaginal pumpkin, and nobody blew the candle out, and now there's an issue. Like, I thought it was going to be some orb that somebody put up their ass.
She is the most vagicentric movie star I think we've ever had.
Yeah, move over, Sharon Stone.
Or we all remember Maureen O'Hara's twat camp from World War II.
Yes, but I thought for sure some chick would have fried a labia.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a goop-related mischief.
Yeah, or this candle doesn't smell like Gwyneth's twat. You know,
is that a thing that she sold?
She did sell
a
candle that smelled, that she smelled like her vagina.
I have a candle.
I'm not even going near that.
I want to know. Tell me what you think of this theory. I got a candle that I was looking at when I was sitting on the toilet, and the scent was old denim, and I'm like, I think the reality is there's like 3 candle scents and 7,000 candle names.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I feel the same way with the pot store. Like when they go, what do you want to do? You want to go to sleep, or do you want to do trigonometry? You want to climb Mount Kilimanjaro? Like they do all. They got a strain for everything.
Yeah, it all does the same thing.
Let's just feel high.
Yeah,
I want to eat.
Yeah, if you go to Sherwin-Williams, there are 48 names of gray, but it's gray.
Yes. They got Navajo white and Swiss coffee white and everything.
Oh, is that real?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the candle.
But I think it smells like worn denim.
Yeah.
It might be the old denim smell.
So what I want to say about the guy in the wheelchair is there are cameras everywhere, and we refuse to accept that. So we do a bunch of shit that in any time else in recorded history of this country, you had plausible deniability.
Sure.
My entire youth and my entire life of doing horrible things, I was sort of went, I sat on the wheelchair and then I got up and we went to the party and then Stu, am I right? Yeah, we left. I don't know who pushed that shit down there. Everything is filmed now. Yeah. But was the collision?
No.
Are there cameras up on the slopes?
Well,
and this is always going to be he said, she said, right?
Right. Well, so Paltrow says that, you hit me from behind and you're just trying to, quote, exploit my celebrity and wealth. There were ski instructors who were there, who saw it happen. And they said that the Sanderson, the doctor, apologized for the accident and said that, and then Sanderson told the ski instructors, I didn't see her.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just
that's it.
And I think you can probably tell maybe by the broken bones, if
he's about to have more loss of enjoyment.
That too, I don't believe anything. This
fractured ribs or something.
Well, listen, lawsuits, whether it's a company or an individual, can't be based on net earnings and income and wealth of the either individual or the business. If you hit a guy and the guy's missing a couple of teeth and he has tape between his glasses and he says something like, shucks, I missed you, or sorry about that, or whatever, and you decide that this guy who can't afford gaiters or a down parka, he's got like rayon in his parka, if that's an empty bag, if that's not a crime, then hitting Elon Musk doesn't mean there is a crime.
Right.
That's where we're at.
Yeah.
Sorry. One more.
All right. So speaking of lawsuits against companies, so a family of a toddler who died after ingesting fentanyl at a Florida Airbnb filed suit against Airbnb. So this was in 2021. So the toddler, after coming in contact with fentanyl, was staying at this home. The toddler's 19 months old at the time of the death, and they claimed that the short-term rental company failed to sanitize the property well enough to where there was fentanyl found. And
how do we know the kid just didn't have a problem with fentanyl?
Did he touch the counter and sucked on his fingers, or did he eat something?
Well, the owner of the place said, there was cocaine definitely in the house before. But they found the kid not breathing, blue in the face. So it wasn't properly sanitized, and the lawsuit claims, quote, Airbnb also possessed actual constructive knowledge that the cleaning procedures it advertises for its rentals are insufficient to decontaminate a rental from fatal fentanyl.
Everything is insufficient for everything. First off,
Florida, you say.
Everything in life is either the part where you go to the lube and tune place and they go, we do a 19-point safety instruction on every car that comes through here. And then you're like, but the oil change is only $22. If we do a 19-point, and it's like, they look at your windshield wipers and they go, there's two.
Sure.
And they do nothing. And all of life, like in the commercials, the commercials where they're like cleaning up after the fire or something and everyone's wearing a pressed shirt and it's all tucked in and they got a name tag that's not upside down and everything. Every one of these things, and anyone who's ever hired an exterminator, this is how the commercial for the exterminator is young guy with a square jaw and a tight-fitting tailored shirt, and he's got an eye out.
Looks like Wally Cleaver.
And he's going to spray a force field around your house, invisible force field that's going to send cockroaches running the other direction. You see the actual, this guy's got a Hudson sprayer. If your fucking dog is napping by the garage door, they'll go right over the top of the dog. They'll spray it at anything.
Your dog is napping.
Half a staggered lap around it. They'll spray over the fucking welcome mat and everything. Like they won't spray some shit around, back in the truck and off to Noggles or Del Taco in under 15 minutes. The guy's got a huge gunt on him. The shirt's untucked.
Right. It's not that clean white jumpsuit.
No,
from the commercial.
There's no greater depiction between what you get and what actually exists. As a matter of fact,
with right behind it, starving students movers.
Right. I tried to do, which is middle-aged Guatemalan dudes. I tried.
Nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with them. I tried to do a man show bit for a million years, and we never figured it out, but I haven't thought about it in a million years, but West Hollywood has a gay phone book, and it's like the gay pages. I don't know how it works, but every single, like when you open it up to the plumbing department, you need a rooter. It's a yoked dude with his shirt off.
Sure.
Who's like fucking greased up, like working the rooter and stuff. And I thought, well, perfect, number one. But number two, I know if I call this rooter company, that dude's not knocking at the door.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah. Or if he does show up, it's like, no, I'm a male prostitute.
Right.
You wanted a plumber.
Right. No.
You called the rooter guy. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not bonded or certified, but I can give you a reach around.
Yeah, I can root you.
All right, let's give Dana a plug before we pull in Peter Tilden. Going to be at the Helium Comedy Club in Portland. That'll be this Thursday through Saturday.
Come on down.
And also Bloomington, Illinois at the Comedy Attic.
Indiana.
I'm sorry, Indiana. I did that twice.
It's where the IU is.
Yeah, it's where the college is, where they filmed the great movie Breaking Away.
Yes, Breaking Away. Great club called the Comedy Attic.
Go there. That'll be club. April 14th and 15th. For dates, go to danagould.com and check out his podcast, The Dana Gould Hour. All right, radio legend Peter Tilden will be in studio right after this. Let me tell you about Angie. Angie's List is now Angie, and they've made it easier than ever to get all your home projects done right. I use Angie. Yep, what? You, Adam, you can do most everything Angie can do. True, but I'm busy, and I travel, and I have a schedule. So I'll let Angie do a lot of the stuff I don't have time to do or it doesn't make sense to do. 20-plus years of home service experience, and they're combined with the new tools to simplify the entire process. So make it easy. On the Angie app, just answer a few questions. They'll handle the rest. See ratings and reviews, compare quotes from local pros, and connect instantly. Cross items off the to-do list in just a few taps. Whether it's routine maintenance or dream remod, well, Angie makes it easy. Right, Dawson?
Get your next project done right with the help of a pro from Angie. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com. As we celebrate 14 years of podcasting, here's another memorable moment from the Adam Carolla Show's Ace Awards archives.
Man, there's a lot of good
stuff.
My
new
there.
thing now is micro impressions. Sean Connery is asked whether he would like to vacation in Spain.
Okay.
Yes.
Fine. And then in today's super fast-cut society, it's
Christopher Walken sees a particularly good magic trick. Wow. Just that's it.
Now, for some new memorable moments, let's get back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Peter Tilden in studio. He has a podcast with Jason Alexander, who came on and we talked about it. Really. And they interview lots of different people from all different walks of life. Recently, Shatner was on the show. But Peter's a guy I know from LA radio from my whole adult life. And I've always been a fan.
Thank you.
And I've always loved radio, talk radio specifically. You were at KBC for what, 20 years?
Longer.
Longer, 20 years.
Yeah.
Talk radio is a weird thing. Like I find myself sitting in cars with younger people who are annoyed because I want to listen to people's thoughts. And they're like, why can't we just listen to someone? I'm like, I don't know. This person has thoughts. There's a radio station now, you got to look for it. I'm driving my daughter's car around. There's 200 million terrestrial stations now. This is the Black Information Station. It's like 92.3 or something out there. I've just been listening to it the whole time. Just fascinated. Not even black.
Really?
Yes. Just like listening to talk.
What kind of stuff do they say?
Oh, anytime, a sheriff who killed the black guys, indicted in Macon County or whatever, they're all over that. They're all over.
Is it a national show syndicated or is it local?
It's called like the Black Entertainment Network. It's like a BIN or something, but we'll figure that out. The point is, there it is. It's Black Information Network, and it's just out there. So I'll listen to anything, but Peter Tilden I actually enjoy.
Well, thank you. You know, talk radio, you gotta love what you do. This is talk radio. I mean, podcasting has evolved, and the difference is that you don't have to look at the clock and be done the first break in 3.5 minutes and rush what we're talking about. That you have the luxury of just going. So it's beautiful. But I love talk too. I love being able to interview somebody. I mean, that's what the great thing about the podcast is. I can get an expert on about something and travel through cultural time and space by just listening. We just had an astronaut on it. Okay? Mm-hmm. I didn't know the space station was the length of a football field.
Right.
I didn't know that it was the size of a 6-bedroom house, but bigger because you use all the space because there's no gravity.
Right.
But the coolest thing is, I didn't know about spacewalks. Mm-hmm. So I'm joking with him a little bit, and I didn't know a spacewalk is 7 hours long. Your arms get exhausted, and you got a thing that you can sip on to stay hydrated.
Uh-huh.
And he says, so I'm out on this walk, I'm exhausted, and there's a piece of plastic that floats by my eye line in my helmet, and I go, the thing broke off the hydrator, and I'm going to drown to death in my helmet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of stuff where you go, I can't believe that I'm getting to hear this, and this guy was actually up there 3 times, and what it does. You can ask you're interested in people. That's why you interview. You can ask this guy, you're looking in the face like I'm looking at you and going, so psychologically, does it mess with your head when you're up there? Because your body changes. It's really isolated, even though there are other people there, but you don't feel your limbs. So that's got to be a weird experience. Right. So you can ask whatever. I mean, it's fascinating to do talk radio or this.
Well, you're a guy who I don't really know how to categorize in a weird way, kind of like Fraser Smith, who's another fixture out here for a million years, which is he's a DJ, was a morning DJ, is a comedian, but I don't really think of him as a comedian. Think of him as like a radio guy who's a comedian, who's funny, but is on the radio. And I don't really know what your category is.
I don't know either. All I know, ABC, when they hired me.
What year was that?
Oh my gosh, 89 or 90. Mm-hmm. And they didn't know what I was doing, but George Green, who ran the station, said, I don't understand you, but I like you. And they wanted the next generation of guys.
Were you on there with David Viscott?
Everybody. I was there with the historic lineup that was wild, pretty wild, yeah.
Yeah, you had Michael Jackson.
Ken Minyard, they had the Ken and Bob show in the morning.
Ken and Bob, that's right.
Michael Jackson. And Viscott was on, and the guy who did the railroad stuff at night, Ira Fistel, who specialized in historical stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
And this was a legend. This is when they were the first talk radio station, and they had millions and millions of listeners. And it was great too because of real estate. Like this is a pretty big room. The studio was 4 times the size of this.
I had the misfortune of listening to Dr. David Viscott, who got I used to do. I did a bit in Acme Theater where Paul Rugg, not Paul Rudd, but Paul Rugg, the guy does the voice of Freakazoid and does all these voices. He did a killer David Viscott, and he played David Viscott. And I was like his patient, and he would always the whole. It was just a rhythm thing. They'd go like, I don't know. Tell me about your relationship. Tell me about the relationship with your son, Peter Tilden.
Well, it's a little strange.
Stop, wait, my friend. What was that? What was that?
That's brilliant.
No, go back.
Yes.
What was that?
What was what?
That, okay, right there. Now go back. Now, what was that? How's that make you feel? What was that?
Well,
Oh, stop. Wait, hold on. What was that? Go back.
It was
go back, though.
But when I said
what was that? Listen, my friend, if we're not going to move forward, we have to go back. We have to go back before we can move forward. Okay, my friend? So what was that?
It was actually...
there. What was that?
Well, my son...
Go back. That's his entire... Every time my stepdad called... Oh I was listening to Viscott. And I heard my stepdad call in.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, oh, God, no. Oh, God, no. And he's like, my friend, what is your problem? And my stepdad was like... I don't have a great relationship with my stepkids. And I was like, no.
Well, this is going to be resolved now because Viscott's on the job. Remember they had a Saturday Night Live bit. You don't remember this, but it was years ago. David Viscott had his own show, late night.
He had a late night show.
And they would go up his sinuses. I mean, the camera was in his pores.
Right.
And it was cheap. They had nothing. There's nothing other than there's no set, and the phone is blinking, and he's doing that. He's picking up the phone, and they're trying to make it look interesting. So they're zooming into his face, and they're pulling back, and they're doing stuff. And he's legitimately like, the first time I saw Viscott, they walked me around the studio to introduce me to KBC. Welcome to the family now. And I hear this radio psychologist or psychiatrist is going to help people. and I hear someone in the 405 freeway calls in. Obviously, they need help.
Yeah.
And whatever they said, he runs a sound effect, and he's got a can with coins in it, and he rattles it and goes, cuckoo, cuckoo. I'm thinking, wow, that's some help for somebody who's in need. So did you resolve your issues with your stepdad?
My stepdad is like, I got problems with my stepkids. And I was like, oh, shit.
So what did Viscott say?
Well, stop, wait, go back, you know. But then my stepdad said, not so much the boy, the girl. And I was like,
oh, thank God.
My God, yeah, let my fucking sister deal
with
it.
Did that work out okay?
Probably not. I don't know. Wow. It's ongoing. It's a fluid situation.
Wow. I do remember, something made me laugh that you said that you can tell your success by how high your bed is off the floor, which made me...
yes.
That futon's unsuccessful, but like, what's your bed now, like 30?
Well, we start with Mom. My mom had a mattress on the floor, so that's bad.
Wow,
that's flop house,
it's really
right?
bad. Yeah.
Then you move up to like futon, and you move up to sort of like prison cot and stuff like that. But eventually, you get that height,
right,
where you need the stairs for your small dog,
right.
But if you exceed that height, now you're in loft because you don't have enough room to put a desk and a bed in your room, or you're up top on a bunk, like in the military.
But big money is like, you look at Architectural Digest and Jennifer Aniston, they have beds built and think platforms built for their bed. It's like it's like really royal.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking,
regal.
I'm sleeping. What do I? Right, I'm out when I'm doing it.
I sleep alone in a California king with 1 foot and 1 arm hanging over the edge.
Wow!
Like I'm using up the first 14 inches of a 270-inch wide bed because I just don't have the self-esteem to sleep in the middle of the California king.
You can't. Well, you can't. Once you claim a side, but curiously, did you claim a side and stay on the side?
I was thinking about this the other day. I have toggled back and forth. I'm fluid with my side.
Oh, I couldn't do it.
I didn't think I could, but the reality is I slept on the left side when we lived in this house, and then I switched to the right side.
That says a lot about you.
There maybe oriented to the bathroom. You know, maybe I sleep on the side that's closer to the head.
Or you're making a statement. You're claiming real estate.
Oh, yeah. It's a good point.
I don't care who you are. I'm here, and I'm taking this side, and I'm taking the other side if I want it.
We got some David Viscott, by the way. This guy was a hero of mine.
Oh, my God. Oh, wow. I haven't seen him.
Died early, I think.
Yeah, he
Early-ish.
did. Yeah, he did. I love
Dottie, who's next?
I have James on line 1. He's 38 years old, and he has some peculiar obsessions.
He does. James?
Yes, David.
Hi.
Hello.
You have peculiar... what is going on?
Well, I'm in love with something that doesn't exist. I guess most people would relate it as being a fantasy woman.
Who is?
A combination of a regular female woman and a spider.
What are you talking about?
This is good TV.
Well, I was a virgin until I was 28, and I didn't find that very appealing. And I've been abstinent since, and I'm 38 now. And I know that she doesn't exist on this plane. And I'm...
Who is this? Is this someone after a cartoon character?
Wow.
But then you go into
That's terrific.
English Michael Jackson. And I remember as a horrible student who really didn't read or write and didn't really have any kind of command over the English language, listening to him going, I could never interview somebody that way. I wouldn't choose the right words. I'd screw up the pronunciation. I mean, that guy, just such a, he was a guy who interviewed people like trying to think like a great tennis player doesn't. It looks effortless.
Right.
It seemed effortless. He would interview
but
everyone.
That's all preparation, man. It's all prep, and he was nervous about it. Michael was he was brilliant, a wonderful guy, but he prepped and prepped and prepped, and he had the biggest guest. I mean, KBC at that time had the biggest guests on. You would walk in any given day, and there's Rosa Parks, and there's a president. You know, there's the dogs in the bathroom, searching because they're gonna have a vice president come in. You know, it's weird. And also, we shared with KLOS, the rock station. So I go into the bathroom, and you hear like gas going, whatever, and you don't, and it's Dan Quayle's coming out of the
right. Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Was Mark and Brian on KLOS back then?
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
So it was a poppin' radio station. It was really every rock star every politician, everybody came in. I'm on the show on a Saturday afternoon BSing about something, and they say Cher wants to come in and talk to you about something political.
Wow.
Cher comes in, sits down, and wants to have a conversation. It was pretty nuts.
Yeah, it's sad that in a way, I mean, I guess my kids, they have podcasting or they have everything's on demand or they can listen. But there's sort of something, and so let's liken it to this, I think. And I think this will tie it all together. Anybody who's old enough to remember going out and buying an album would then be exposed to a bunch of B-sides and deep cuts on that album that they did not buy the album for. I could name 1,000 albums, for anyone from the Police to the Pretenders to the Vapors, who sung like Turning Japanese. I bought the Vapors Turning Japanese because I wanted to hear Turning Japanese. But I started listening. You listen to the whole stuff. You listen to all the other stuff, and you'd start liking the other stuff, even though you've never heard it anywhere, never got any spins, never got played on the radio. And there became a sort of relationship that was more intimate because you were listening to the non-hits of the band, which sometimes were a little more revealing. And also, you knew more hits, or you knew more about that band than anybody else did because they just heard Turning Japanese or the Pretenders or whatever it was. But I've found now everyone cherry picks what they want to hear.
There's no shared experience.
And they just listen to it.
Right.
I would sit there and listen to Michael Jackson, and he's going to talk to Boutros Ghali, and I'm 24 and I'm living in the San Fernando Valley, and I have no fucking idea who either one of these guys are, what the deal is, but I'm there.
Well, and it was shared experience, and they curated it. It was magazine, same thing.
Right.
You turn pages and you see articles you would never look up, and you go, didn't know that. Didn't know that. So the whole world now, that's missing, is that where we go to get curation, and now it's AI is curating stuff for us. So there's some AI out there that's picking some algorithm to feed you stuff, and that's bad. But you look up something, and now it just feeds you stuff that's around that algorithm, and it's not transparent. So the shared experience, I think that's part of the country's problem today. We don't have that shared experience.
Yes, and the folks that are older were forced to listen to everyone else's thoughts and opinions because I was on a construction site. I had no one to talk to. I would have gone out of my bean, and so I would just put KBC on, and whoever came on just came on, and I would listen to all of it.
Pretty amazing. And yeah, the numbers that they had at that time were, millions and millions of people would listen, because where else are you going to go? How many stations were there? But it's just like music. Growing up, what we had was, you listen to the Temptations and then Pink Floyd on the same station.
Right.
That's schizophrenic today. That wouldn't happen because you don't want that. I got to curate to everything that sounds like Pink Floyd for you, and that's what people are getting today.
Yeah, and you're right. There's sort of political ramifications of it, and it bothers me. But it also bothers me that more people don't have a sort of reverence for it. I am critiqued oftentimes for just wanting to listen to talk radio.
Well, but the reverence of it, things move on. I always, that's why I did the podcast. Things are forward moving. I always try and look at the next thing, and I'm not one of those guys who goes, that was horrible, that it went away and we should have it again. I just think now you have an opportunity to learn so much and find so much information. The thing I found doing talk radio, though, was people are lazy and they don't want to Google and look stuff up. So they just know the headline and they make a decision about that, and the pundit is giving you your information now, and you don't even know the credibility of the person that you're agreeing with.
So did you come out here from where?
I was in Philadelphia. By the way, were you born in Philly? Because your bio says Philly and not Philly. So which is a weird thing not to have a
family was in Philly. I was born here and then went back to Philly. There's a lot of Philly stuff.
Back to Philly. Yeah. We're in Philly.
South Philly.
Oh, all right. So at least good food.
Yeah, I was actually talking about my Italian grandmother the other day who did make a pot of spaghetti and meatballs.
I worked in South Philly in a factory, and when I saw that The Irishman was going to be made the movie, I thought, oh, that's cool. Scorsese got another movie coming out. And then I realized it was about Frank Sheeran, who's my union representative.
When I
worked at the factory.
What factory?
How about that? It was Crown Paperboard, and they shut down. Worked in a paperboard factory, catching cardboard, tears up your hands. It was 110 degrees. You'd freeze your iced tea the night before and hope that by lunchtime it had melted so you could drink it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a wonderful time of my life.
Yeah, I was just saying, my dad was telling me about applying for a job at the Baldwin Baldwin Locomotive Factory, which is
Delaware, like down right on the.
I didn't even ask where it was. I was just like, man, that sounds like a miserable existence.
This is why you needed Viscott.
But you, my friend, what was that?
I'm going to do that from now on to anybody. What? Excuse me.
Go back. Wait. Go back. What was that?
I don't know.
So you come out to L.A. to do radio?
No, I had an ad. It's a bizarre story. I had an ad agency and did pretty well in Philadelphia because I figured out everybody was doing ads there with using Philadelphia voices. So no matter how good the ad was you wrote, it's the same 12 guys doing it. And New York is about an hour and 20 minutes away. So I started going to New York to do ads, and I got known for that. I was on radio playing around. Somebody heard me who owned Greater Media, and he said, you should be come out here and do mornings. And I had no idea what I was doing. Said yes, came out, and
Tilden and who in the morning? Was there somebody else?
It wasn't. It was me and Ken Minyard. It was Ken and Bob, then it was Ken and Barkley, and then it was me and Ken.
Ken and Bob. Do they have a famous son?
Eggbach was their thing. Everything's going to be okay. Remember that?
Yeah, they'd go Eggbach.
Eggbach.
Everything's going to be okay. It was an acronym, yeah. Yeah, you'd have to have little sayings and isms because you had 4 hours a day to kill.
But they did something smart too, where a lot of radio, it's funny, Adam, you know radio, and like I used to say to the program directors, so Howard Stern blocks all his spots. And so he can go long because you guys all want to make people stay another quarter hour.
Right.
Why don't we do that? Because people generally, if you study it, leave during the first or second spot. So what's the difference?
Right.
And they go, yeah, it works for him, it won't work here.
Right.
You know, so Ken and Bob, what they had that was really interesting, instead of stopping for traffic and stopping for segments, everybody was part of the show. The copter guy, Captain O'Hare, was part of the show.
Right.
I forget the other, Waco Pat. They had all these characters.
Right.
But it wasn't like we're going to stop now and go to business. It was now, so wait, what's happening? It was very conversational, so it seemed flawless. No one else did that. They were really smart to do that. And it felt like you were hanging with a sitcom, a group of people that you knew, and you knew their interaction. They built a family.
Who am I thinking of with Ken and Bob? Because I'm thinking of the other. Who was the famous comedy team? Bob and Ken?
Oh, Lohman and Barkley.
Lohman. Oh, wait, Lohman.
Wasn't that Lohman and Barkley who did? Because Roger Barkley then came on the show.
Who is? Oh God, I'll think.
Are you thinking of Bob and Tom?
Bob and Tom.
Oh, they're in another market. Yeah,
that's who I was thinking of. Yeah. I don't know. What's the state of terrestrial radio now? Do you know?
I don't know, which is why I'm in podcasting.
Yes.
You know what? I'll be honest about it. I had done it long enough. The political thing didn't interest me anymore because everybody has an agenda. And people would call me and make a statement about something, and I'd go, so tell me about that. And they wouldn't know. Past the headline, I'd say, this was a 7th grade term paper.
Right.
You basically started typing the title. You know nothing below the title, but you're going to fight for it and claim that you understand it. So it got exhausting. It used to be where you could have conversations about stuff. It just, for me, it ran its course. And this was appealing because of this, because you can actually invite people on. There's no program director telling you can't have them on. It's either going to work or it's not going to work. And it's a blast.
Yeah, I find like old school radio guys, they would love podcasting because you can go long form. It's totally what they've been wanting to do without all the breaks. And speaking of terrestrial radio today, aren't like cars getting rid of AM receivers now?
I find it harder to find on cars. It took me 20 minutes in my daughter's car to figure out where AM was, but that's because I didn't know how to work the joystick. But well, there's a couple things that you learn from podcasting. You cannot determine in advance whether someone's going to be an interesting guest or not. We'll have to find out.
Right.
Now, there's credentials. There is this guy led the majors in home runs last year or something where you can go, well, that sounds like a pretty cool guy to talk to. Or this guy just won the Oscar for best whatever. And you go, well, that seems. But everyone else on the next tier, it's just this guy's a former Navy SEAL.
Don't know.
And we don't know. And this guy.
Have you died? Do you recall when? Because I had one interview. It's not going to mean a lot to a lot of people, but remember the grandmother in Vacation, Imogene Coca?
Yes.
She was on my show, and she was already older.
What year is
George, God, 93, let's say. And George Green comes in and is sitting there. My general manager, owner, is sitting there. And I'm a little nervous because he's there, and he's reading the paper because it was like his living room. And she sits down, and I said to her something about live TV, and Sid sees her, whatever. And she goes, meh. Well, was it fun doing the vacation movies? Oh, yes. And I'm starting to sweat now down my armpits because I'm going, we're 2 minutes in, and I've gone through all my questions.
We're done.
So I end up having to fill the hour. And thank God George wasn't listening, even though he was sitting there. But I never forget how deadly that was. And that's when I started over-preparing and saying, thank you, bye, and having a story myself. Mm-hmm. Have you had somebody in here that, or maybe you don't want to say?
Some are better than others. This isn't going particularly well today.
Thank you. I figured this would give you your opportunity.
Hold on. What was that? Well, go back.
Go back. Let's go back. By the way, so far we're appealing. Podcasting is like an 18 to 34 demographic. Yes. So far we're appeling to 55 to long deceased. Yes. Really deceased.
Hee Haw had an AM radio morning show.
My God. I haven't talked about this stuff in a million years.
Well, what you mainly find out is that people are much more interesting than you thought they were, given the opportunity to express themselves and kind of teed up and ask the right questions.
Right.
That's my takeaway from podcasting. I find almost everyone can be interesting, but they don't, it's sort of like everyone's up Hugh Grant's ass because he was on the red carpet.
And he was miserable.
And they were saying, like, what are you wearing? No dude dressed like he's just wearing a garden variety tuxedo.
Right.
He doesn't care.
Right.
So Hugh Grant could be a very interesting interview or not. You have to kind of ask him the right questions. If you're going to ask him the cookie cutter template stuff, then he's going to come across how he came
across. And that was Leno's big show. The numbers supposedly took off when Hugh Grant was on.
Oh, right.
And Jay asked him after you'd been caught with the hooker, where he said, he just opened with, so what were you thinking?
Right.
And boom.
Right. So there is interest to be mined in anybody, but I've always kind of had the feeling that if you just went to a random diner and found a guy eating at the counter and put him down in front of a microphone and started asking him the right questions, you'd probably find something insane. Or fascinating.
Insane you would find.
I don't know. No, I don't think he'd be the life of the party, but I think if you ask the right questions, you would find out something insanely tragic about one of his kids who, died in a wood chipper or something. There'd be something insane.
Why am I smiling at that? Yeah.
There'd be some bizarre just sort of grazing of greatness where he could have been or almost got picked up by the Mets in 1971 to be a relief pitcher or something. Like, you'd find a lot there.
But the great thing is, today that guy has a podcast. That's the only thing that embarrasses me about this, and I don't tell people. I love for people to see the podcast, hear the podcast. But when you go anywhere, and I don't know if yours is huge. I mean, it's a huge podcast. You've been doing it 14 years. What, 3,000 episodes or 4,000? How many episodes?
Over 3,000.
Which is insane. That's insane. Okay. But I go somewhere and they go, so what are you doing now?
Yeah.
And I go, I'm doing a podcast. You go, oh, my grandson does a podcast. That's the next thing I hear. It's grandson. And then I go to the bathroom. I get out,
No, it's interesting that podcast went from... The beginnings of podcasting was I'm doing a podcast. The early days was I don't know what a podcast is, but I'm rooting for you to get back on the real radio. That was the beginning, and now it's gone to ubiquitous. Yeah, my grandson's doing a podcast. So usually there's a little more of a buffer between I've never heard of this and everyone is doing it. I guess it's the new sped up time that we're living in. But yeah, it is kind of interesting that you almost would feel a little bit embarrassed because it just seems like you jumped on some bandwagon or something.
And people don't understand. I mean, I was watching you with Dana Gould, and I'm dying because you're talking about Gwyneth Paltrow and vagina candles and all that. The amount of material that you put out a day and an hour and 40 that you do, I always tell people, do you like this guy? Do you like that guy on radio? They want me to critique on somebody else. And I go, just the fact that they show up every day and can do it for the long haul is pretty intense. It's a pretty tough thing to do. And radio and podcasting, everybody listens and thinks because they hear talking and they see you interview your friends that's what everybody imitated Howard Stern. I can do what Howard does.
Right.
No, you can't. So a lot of people got into this because it's just talking. And then I didn't realize that the number of drop-off that people try it and then they do it for a month or two and then they're gone. But I'm curious with you, how did you start? When you started it, what was your intention with this? Or did you not have an intention?
I did not have an intention that was monetarily based. I had an intention that as a guy, who grew up listening to so much talk radio and feeling like the radio was my friend and feeling like I would be alone on these construction sites. Oftentimes, I'd get dropped off at a half-finished house on a hill in an avocado ranch in Simi Valley, and it'd just be, you're hanging doors all day alone.
Wow.
And I was so oriented toward conversation and thought and and sort of community. I wanted someone to go back and forth with. I wasn't meant to do blue-collar work psychologically, emotionally. I didn't know that because that's what I did. So I would sit and I would, turn the radio on, just listen, and kept me company while I was doing this kind of lonely, isolated work. That when the show would end or the person would sign off or sometimes die or retire or get fired, I'd have this profound sense of loss.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to be able to hang doors Monday and listen to this guy anymore. He got me through the day. So when I got bumped off of terrestrial radio after 15 years, I felt like there's people out there who are going to be sort of emotionally distressed that they're not going to hear me every day. So my thing was like, I don't need money. I don't need commercials. I don't need anything. It didn't exist. But I was like, if you, and I'm not saying most of you will, but the some of you who feel like they just need a little home cooking, a little comfort food, I'll come on every day for an hour and I'll talk to you. And that was it. I just didn't want to break the relationship.
But also, didn't you find, because I listen to you a lot, don't you find that as you start riffing more and more, and you got on talk radio, you surprise yourself about your opinions that I'm opinion. I didn't realize that I felt that way about that. I mean, and it's unfiltered, and it's volume. Usually, you get stuff that is curated on TV. You see hosts like Johnny Carson. I mean, I love Johnny Carson. But it's like the Beatles were curated. You only saw the pictures they wanted you to see. You never saw them with a needle in their arm, snorting coke and with hookers. So Carson, they were all curated. You only saw what they wanted you to see, and you got a piece of that. So those shows for me when I was a little kid, when you saw that they were drunk or being real and joking with each other, felt like there's a world that they're part of that we're just getting a glimpse on. This, when you started doing talk radio, because of the volume, when you're on 4 hours a day, people really get to know you. Yes. And you can fake who you are for a while, but your real personality comes out after a while. And if they have a buy-in, then they really have a buy-in because it's so personal. You know?
I would tell people all the time, and they'd go, "What's Dr. Drew like?" I was like, "You listen to Dr. Drew?" I was like, "Yeah." Then you know him. You know exactly who he is. All right. A plug for the pod. Really? No, really? And that's also with our friend Jason Alexander and Peter Tilden. Peter, this has been fun. Come back.
Thank you.
And much luck.
You can hear the astronaut who almost drowned in his helmet. And tomorrow we draw, I think I don't know when this is airing, but Snoop Dogg's blunt roller is on, which was pretty fascinating. I never saw that much pot in a studio except during a DEA raid. It was wild.
Peter.
And good stuff.
_ Tilden is where you go. Good to see you, Peter. Dana Gould, of course. Go to danagould.com. Me live shows all over the place. Naples is sold out, but we got Turlock and Fresno and Vegas and all that at adamcarolla.com. Until next time, Adam Carolla for Dana Gould and Peter Tilden saying mahalo.